to cheat and to usurp. And when you see people subverting the most fundamental expression of the people's will in a purportedly democratic environment, and this is unchallenged, and it is so obvious and so widespread, it suggests to me that we're living in less than a civilized country.
Indeed, less than civilized. I think many will agree with you. Right, so having said that, let's now go back to what happened on the 24th, and in particular, the importance of electoral tribunals. First of all, explain to us, what are they? What are election tribunals or electoral tribunals?
Well, an electoral tribunal is a special court set up under particular rules and whose purpose is to determine complaints arising from the conduct of an election. They use a Latin expression, sui generis, which means that it's not like anything else.
Okay.
It's not a high court, it's not a magistrate court.
Right.
It is a tribunal composed under specific law, and that is its purpose. It is therefore part of the electoral process, because the electoral process, of course, starts way before election. It starts with the registration, it starts with party primaries, and it continues on to the actual casting of votes. But even when votes have been cast, then there's a question of the declaration, there's a question of the determination of who has won. And then when there is an issue as to whether the elections have been carried out in a way that fulfills their purpose, which is to determine the will of the people, then an election tribunal is meant to inquire into any complaints that arise in that context.
Right. That's the thing. The complaints that arise. Now, are they not supposed to be inaugurated before the actual elections, or are they supposed to happen to be inaugurated after the elections? Which is it?
Well, the administration of elections and the responsibility for administering elections places a huge societal, legal, and democratic responsibility on the people who are tasked with that objective. Amongst those people is the chairman of the Electoral Commission in Lagos, it's Lasiek. And with respect in particular to the election tribunals, it's a responsibility given by law to the Chief Judge of Lagos State. In the area of electoral petitions in the federal level and in gubernatorial elections, these are provisions made specifically by the Constitution. And there's a high degree of law that has been generated by those processes. And because there's an anticipation that there will be contest.
Discord, yes.
And even if there isn't, the fact is that if you have created as part of the process of elections a system for inquiring into what has gone on in elections, then you must anticipate that there will be an inquiry. And so to answer your question specifically, the fact that tribunals were not constituted till nearly 10 days after the elections in Lagos State is very disturbing to me. Indeed, it was the subject matter of a letter which I wrote to the Chief Judge of Lagos State.
Right.
And it seems to me that you have to at least pretend that you intend to follow the law.
Yeah.
And that if you haven't set up a tribunal 10 days after, then people may doubt your sincerity to activate legal processes.
You mentioned Lasiek. Let's talk Lasiek. So people may also not understand. So Lasiek is the Lagos State, electoral board.
Independent Electoral Commission.
That's the word. That's independent.
Yes.
And by that independence, they're also supposed to fall under INEC, no?
No, the fact is that the Constitution of Nigeria regulates elections of presidents, members of the House of Representatives, and governors. Local government elections are meant to be within the legislative competence of a state. So the operation of local government elections is regulated by Lagos law.
Right.
And under Lagos law, an independent electoral commission has been created for the purpose of elections within the remit of the Lagos House of Assembly. That includes House of Assembly elections, that includes the local government elections, councillors and chairmanship. So it's not under INEC, but the fact is that the body of electoral law, which is largely generated by the activity of INEC, casts great light on what needs to be done in respect of elections in states.
Right. So INEC is supposed to be as independent as Lasiek is supposed to be as independent as INEC.
Correct.
Pretty much.
Essentially.
Essentially.
Yes, that is its name.
Right.
Independent Electoral Commission.
Right. So a lot of the complaints has been, and in fact, there was, I think, there was a petition to the court a week or so before the actual local elections, where 11 parties said they wanted the elections to be postponed, basically because they didn't trust Lasiek, and that was thrown out of court. I don't know whether you're aware of that.
I'm not.
Right. Now, since then, even though the elections went ahead, the majority of the complaints has been Lasiek, Lasiek, Lasiek. Can INEC help?
No, and INEC doesn't have legislative responsibility for conducting elections in Lagos State. That is a task and a responsibility given to the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission.
So as voters, I mean, for instance, I'll tell you what my experience was. My experience was I went to vote at 1004, which is where my my polling station was. I got there, and it's interesting in Nigeria because I found that, you don't see, even though you have parties, you don't really see the names of those contesting, right? Yes. So I did say to them, who's contesting? They showed me the ballot paper. So I went ahead and I voted. Only to realize, and I voted for the Youth Party, incidentally. Only, it wasn't until after I had voted and dropped everything in the box, yada, 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 that I get to my car and I happened to speak to a gentleman who actually was another candidate, incidentally, a PDP candidate. That was when I met him. And he said, oh, there's no youth party for this area. I said, I beg your pardon? He said, no, there's no youth party contesting. They're only in Lekki. But those who were sitting there didn't tell me. I was given a ballot paper that had every single party on it. Whose responsibility is that? I mean, should they not say, okay, for this area, youth party is not contesting, cross it off, or whatever it is they're supposed to do, so I don't get, or people like me don't get confused and think we're voting for the party that we want in our area.
You've asked common sense questions, and very often the logistics for any exercise is a matter of common sense. I need to get 10 people to Ikeja this afternoon, then I need a car that is going to carry 10 people.
Yeah.
That's basic common sense. The organization of an election is a legal responsibility, but it's also, in many instances, basic common sense.
Yeah.
You provide a large budget for the purposes of achieving a simple result. That is counting the votes of those who are entitled to vote and giving the true result of what they have voted. That seems quite simple. Now, internationally, there are well-known indices for election integrity. The freedom to vote, the openness, the accessibility, the security, a sanctified voters register, access to polling booths, identification of their location. Any young person who can read can look up election integrity under multiple national and international organizations, and they will give you the indices. Now, what you speak of and what many people speak of are very simple, logistical and geographic. For example, where is the location of a polling booth?
Correct.
Yes. That's not rocket science.
It isn't. It shouldn't be anyway.
So when you talk about in the case of the election where you voted, I understand that even a few days before the election, the Youth Party didn't know it was going to be on the ballot because there had been some contest with Lasiek, and they had made several efforts to insist that lawful court orders, which compels the electoral body to place them on the ballot, had not been complied with. There was therefore an obvious disinclination, which was supported by administrative obstruction, to have them even listed.
Yes.
Now, one of the fundamentals of election integrity is that more people rather than less people should vote. Now, if the electoral arrangements ensure that less people vote than more people, then it's clear that this election, by its very nature, is questionable on grounds of integrity.
I like that you mentioned that, because one of the things that I've often said is that in any other country, at least to my knowledge, is that when you have a low turnout, often the electoral body and the government tend to look at why and try to fix the whys.
Yes.
Okay, and identify the whys.
Yes.
It would appear, at least with what we've seen so far, let's talk about these local elections, the whys, because people kept saying, I'm not going to vote because I know my vote is not going to count. You know, it's not going to count. And we were encouraging people to vote. And the turnout was low. But even those who turned out felt that the votes didn't count. How do we ensure this integrity? How do we fix this lack of, and the trust factor, which is critical to any electoral process?
Well, part of election integrity is voter awareness and voter mobilization and voter education. These are legal functions of LASIEC. People think of LASIEC simply as conducting elections on the day and getting...
Shall I correct you? They think of LASIEC as conducting elections for the ruling party of Lagos State.
Okay, I'll come to that in a moment. I'll come to that in a moment. But the if someone were to look down from the moon and look at the law establishing LASIEC and look up what an independent electoral commission is, one would assume that it is going to conduct elections. But to the point that you were making, the low turnout of an election delegitimizes the election.
Correct.
Because the purpose of an election in a democracy is to test for the opinion of the majority. If the majority of the electorate do not vote, that already is an expression that they do not have confidence in the system that they're voting for. And therefore, that more people stay at home than vote has already by its nature delegitimized the electoral process. And it is the job of an electoral body to ensure that it works to increase the highest participation of the number. In some countries, an election of under 50% is null and void.
Null and void, yes.
In some countries, it's compulsory to vote because there is nothing more fundamental in your participation in democratic and civil society than that you express your opinion as to who and how you should be governed. Now, when you say we have a democratic dispensation, even the word dispensation, I regret using that. Because it's as if it's something that can be given and can be taken away. Ultimately, the power of any government or any political system is the opinion of the people.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. We've got to go on a quick break. I'll read out the numbers. I know you're all thinking, why hasn't she read out the numbers? I'll read out the numbers for you again. We'll be right back after this break.
Downfall Conversations will be right back.
The gang in partnership with Sign Up Consult presents the latest invention in human history, 38 Bars. Follow the nation's finest sports gang through the 38-game season as we deliver live football updates and analysis at your favorite bars across Lagos. The revolution is here and live on Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. 38 Bars with Femi and the gang, where football meets lifestyle.
Everybody needs a little help every now and then. Sometimes it's sugar or salt, or an extra hand to change a flat tire, or a small loan. At Kuda Microfinance Bank, we believe that your bank should do more than just store your money. We want to do more for you. So when you use your Kuda accounts to pay bills, buy airtime and make transfers regularly, we'll offer you an overdraft, which is a low-interest loan that you can take anytime you need it. No long talk, no collateral, no paperwork involved. Just download Kuda on the Play Store or the App Store, open a Kuda account, and use it regularly to qualify for a Kuda overdraft. Kuda, free banking for you.
You may wonder why people call me chairman, boss, and so on. That's because I stay one step ahead with the right information. Every morning when I wake up, I tune in to the Morning Crossfire with Sheriff Quadri on 99.3 Nigeria Info. It keeps me updated with hot topics, latest news, great conversations. So you see, I never miss a thing. So listen to the Morning Crossfire every weekday, 5 to 9 a.m. and be one step ahead with the right information, like me.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back to Downfall Conversations, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
We're back. Let me read out the studio line. I know you're all dying to call in. 0700 993 993 993. The female only line, and I'll know if you're a bloke calling in. 0146. No, sorry, I beg your pardon. Yeah, 01465 7190. The WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805. You can watch us live on Facebook, facebook.com/Nigeria Info. Listen via website, nigeriainfo.fm. Are you watching me on YouTube? I haven't started syncing yet. I know I get messages about, why are you always syncing? I don't know. They do it on purpose. Blame the guys before me. They do that on purpose. Thank you so much. So I'm still with my guest. We have a San on this Danfo. This is the only Danfo you're going to meet a San on today. So just hold on tight. I know we haven't started going jiggy-jaga yet. We have to let him in gently and slowly. And he's doing very well. How are you finding it so far? The ride is good?
So far, so good. Thank you.
Excellent. Wonderful. So the lines are going crazy. Calm down. I haven't finished talking to him yet. Keep listening. So, you're representing the Youth Party. Why? And you're doing it pro bono. Why?
That's what pro bono means.
Mm-hmm.
Pro bono is an abbreviation of the Latin expression pro bono publico, which means that it's for the good of the public.
For the good of the public. So what are their chances? What's your petition, first of all?
Well, the petition complains, there are statutory grounds for complaining against an election. That the candidate who won wasn't qualified, that he didn't win the highest number of lawful votes, that the election was marred by irregularity and corrupt practices, and that a person who participated was wrongfully excluded. Well, in this case, of course, Youth Party, though they were nearly excluded because it was only a few days, they weren't even sure on the day of the election that their name would be on the ballot.
Yes.
So that was remarkable
in itself. Yes.
That's already being hobbled to one degree, and then, but the major plank of the petition is that the person who has been declared, or that again is a problem because it's not clear that a declaration was made by INEC.
Well, this was the thing, yes. I don't think it has been, but it's presumed, I guess.
Yeah, well, you don't presume in law what needs to have legal effect.
Indeed.
I understand that the chairman of LASIAC has been on some media where she said that it wasn't necessary to make a formal declaration. I found that remarkable, to say the least, because you cannot presume in law what is not supported by facts, and the only fact upon which you could conclude that someone had won an election is that the body who's conducting elections makes that declaration. Indeed, there's a presumption that that declaration would be accorded with the imprimatur of truth.
Yeah.
But then if none is made, that's a problem by itself. But the person who has been paraded, if you like, as did not win the highest number of votes, and that the election itself was marred by irregularity, corrupt practices, and that the result of this cocktail of irregularities is that the election was not conducted in substantial compliance with the law, which is also itself a legal ground for challenging an election.
Right, now I've got to ask you, so like I said, there were lots of people who said, you know, the polling station was moved into palaces. In fact, my local palace is supposed to be one of the polling stations, one of the palaces where the local the polling station was said to have moved to. Is that illegal or is that allowed?
Well, you see, first of all, the location of a polling unit should be obvious. It should be known in advance. It should be identifiable and accessible. That you cannot tell where a polling unit is going to be specifically ahead of the election is itself a failure of organization or a failure of good faith. As to moving from the advertised location to a location which is by its nature inaccessible, the palace of a traditional ruler, that in itself is also an irregularity which, to my own impression, indicates an intention to curtail access and the right to vote.
Right.
So there are many ways you can suppress the vote. You can suppress the vote, for example, and this is an election irregularity. You can suppress the vote by not turning up at the polling units.
Yeah.
Or by turning up at the polling unit 3 minutes before the time is expired. Or by intimidating and putting a police and security presence or a security cordon around an area where you expect there will be an opportunity to vote. All these by themselves and together indicate an intention to suppress the vote. But to the specific question, if you put as to the legality, in my own opinion, to move the location of a polling unit from where it is advertised is unlawful. To move the location of a polling unit into a place where it's accessible only to people of a particular political complexion is unlawful.
Unlawful.
And it has the result of further ensuring that the election does not comply with the requirements of a proper conduct of election, which would render it which would establish its integrity. Ultimately, the responsibility for election integrity is that of the Electoral Commission, and this range of defaults, to my mind, substantially undermine the integrity of the election.
So, thank you. So now, the tribunal has been inaugurated.
Yes.
It's got lots of big names on it.
Yes.
We're happy that there's a big name that's wanting to do it for the public as well. What should we expect? Before we even talk about your chances, what should we expect? What should all those who went out and voted, got out of their bed, some even stay there, even though last year was supposed to have turned up late in many polling stations? What should we expect? What happens when you get in there?
You know, I'm glad that people are interested in this because before I comment on that question, if I may just say,
Go ahead.
It's very important to win the election on the day.
Right.
And this requires people to turn up and participate. If people turn out, if 3% or something of the electorate turned out to vote at that election, if 90% or even 60% had turned out, the mechanisms for subverting their will would have been overstretched and less capable of doing so.
Please say that again, because I keep going on about how important it is for people to vote, irrespective of what you may think.
Yes.
Please repeat that again.
You see,
please.
first of all, if you don't vote, that's a vote. You voted not to participate, and you voted to allow those who would subvert your will and your interest.
Right.
And in many cases, your security, your life being, and your safety. You allow them free range to determine the result of that election. Now, participation is critical, not just because it's your right and it's your duty to participate in the governance of your society and it's in your self-interest, but because it limits the options of those who would subvert the electoral will to operate.
Right.
So, for example, you want to you move an election polling unit from the place where it should be. Now, you can put it in a school, you can put it in many places which are safe and secure, but you try to put it on the corner of a street, which is a problematic in itself from a security perspective, because if the unit is not secure, then the integrity of the election is undermined. So you put it there, then you move it into the palace of a king, where the king exercises complete sovereignty and authority.
Right.
Now, if there are 6,000 of us that turn up outside the palace of the king saying we want to vote, the king does not have the power to contain us.
That's right.
But if 20 of you turn up and some bad-looking men stand outside the gate and shout at you, you're likely to go back.
Absolutely.
My father used to tell me when I was a child, when you're walking about in places, there's safety in numbers. It's a different context. But in the electoral and political process, there is safety in numbers also. If you don't defend your vote by your presence and your participation, then you're going to get what you deserve.
I hope you heard that. I know. Sorry, I will pick up your calls. Let me just read out again. 0700 993 993 993. And the female only line is 01465 7190. WhatsApp 0809 597 5805. Are you watching me on Facebook? I have my Sisioge on today. Can you see it? Yes, I'm representing Yoruba from way back in the 60s. So watch it live on Facebook, facebook.com/Nigeria Info, and listen via the website, nigeriainfo.fm. Should we answer a call before I go on to my next question? Okay.
Please.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Okangbe.
Okangbe, go ahead. What's your question, please?
Yes. I think that by telling us that we must turn up in numbers to avoid rigging or subverting the will of the people, is even submitting to the ills of the system. Does it mean that we cannot have a perfect election? So if you don't turn up, they will now say, okay, it's only 5 people that voted. Than amassing those numbers for a particular party that is in government. Can't we now just say, look, we want a system that is transparent? It's only 5 people that came out and voted, and we all see that only 5 people came out. Not to now tell us that, okay, since we didn't come in our numbers, so the people will continue to rig. Must they continue to rig in this Nigeria? When will we have a transparent system?
You ask a good question, but here's the thing. His line is cut off. Keep listening. Hello? Okay, the lines are playing up. Now, what I was going to say to him was, it's not about being told to. It's about feeling passionate enough to grab everybody to go out because there's strength in numbers. We have more calls. They're going. The lines are lighting up. Hello?
Good afternoon, CCD.
Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Remy.
Hello, Remy. Go ahead with your questions. From Akoka. Yes, go ahead. Yeah. We have a son with us. Ask your questions away.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I actually supervised 12 polling units during the election. And I saw what happened. Lazek is no way independent. At first, our candidate was run under youth party. On getting to Lazek office, we were told INEC said they shouldn't sell tickets to youth party. So our candidate defected to YPP. So on that election day, the same youth party they told us won't be running was on that ballot paper, just above our own party, which was kind of distracting.
So which polling booth was this? Which area?
Bariga LTDA.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So we had 47 polling units there. So I supervised 12 of it. And all I saw that day was just abnormalities, to use that word. Lazek is just an extension of the ruling party. We heard a lot of things they said. A lot of vote buying happened. There was a certain polling unit that determines vote in my ward, right at the Yemi close. They never came until 12 in the afternoon. People came as early as possible. People came out as early as 8. People waited till 12. Some people had left. Lazek only came something to 12, while other polling units already had Lazek officers right there. To me, it was a game they played. Someone in Shomolu that YPP also contested. YPP wasn't on the ballot paper.
So let me just interject.
Yeah.
Now, I have Mr. Candide-Johnson here, who is going to be representing the Youth Party at the Tribunal. What would you expect to happen?
The election should be cancelled.
Right.
Thank you. Because a lot of things happened. People weren't happy with what happened. The turnout was low, fine. Nonetheless, what ought to happen didn't happen.
So sorry, but I think we heard his point. Do you have anything to add? Any response to add to that?
With respect to your first caller, who said that elections must be transparent and that we don't have to go out to achieve this, as I get older, I remember things that my father told me.
Please share.
Yes, and one of the things I used to remember being said was that it sounds better in Yoruba, but it's.
No, I'll try and translate in English.
They say,
yes, that's right.
You don't kneel down and be praying, "Pass me not, gentle Savior." You get up and grab the hem of his garment.
That's right, absolutely.
So you can sit down at home and say they should do this thing for me, which they're not going to. It takes me directly to the next caller who's talking about things that he saw and manipulations. Now, I find it very, very troubling because when you create an electoral body and you call it independent and you provide public resources and you tell people that you intend to consult the people as to their opinion by the best and most efficient means available,
Yeah.
then one must assume that the person who is running LASIEC has authority, has determination, and has the resources to achieve this objective. The chairman of LASIEC is a former chief judge of this state. Therefore, I don't think anyone can accuse her of not understanding the law
Or not knowing.
or not being competent in administration.
Right.
Now, many of the defaults and failures we have seen in this election indicate either that she didn't know what she was doing, that she was sabotaged, or that she was complicit.
I like. Next call, please. We say it straight on Down for Conversations. You heard it. Hello.
Hello, hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. My name is Adekunle Laditon, and I just want to say hello to Mr. Yemi Candide-Johnson, SAN.
Good afternoon.
How are you, Leonard Silk?
Very well, thank you very much.
No, look.
You're just posing now. What do you mean, Leonard Silk? It's just all that posing. Go ahead.
You're an educated woman. We are learned. You just went to school.
I am going under the table now. This downfall is not moving again. Go ahead.
You have a flat tire. You need to go and see your organizer. Now, I voted at the last election, the local government election at Ogba.
Okay.
My polling vote was at behind area G.
Mm-hmm.
It was free and fair. To be sincere with you, what happened was the voters' apathy.
Okay.
As the letter made that Yoruba adage, okay, you can't just sit down in your homes and don't vote and be on social media, blogging on WhatsApp, YouTube, and on Twitter, and you don't come out and vote en masse and protect your vote. I understand the grievances of the youth parties and all the rest, but there was a general voters' apathy, and that what happened at the local government election.
Thank you.
So, most grateful. So, I like your program, so keep the good work up, okay?
Even if I'm not a Leonard Silk, yes. I'm a Danford driver. Beep, beep.
The outer bar, so don't worry, we're both non-Leonard Silk.
Thank you for calling. Next call, please. Hello? Hello? Are you there? No, I'm afraid not. Hello?
Yeah, Chief Mrs. Ireti Bakare.
Ah, Chief Mister.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Look, I have somebody that's greater than Chief Mr. and Mrs. today. I have a son.
Yeah, the law himself.
The law pata of the pata patas.
The law himself.
That's right. Go ahead with your question, Chief Mister.
Yeah, I spoke with him the other day with Uncle Jimmy Disu.
Okay.
And what I asked Uncle Jimmy, supposing the law is the Attorney General of this country, do you think we'll find ourselves in this stormy water?
That's so. He's putting you. Yeah, we can hear you. I'm putting it to him. He's putting you on the spot.
So, for the chairperson, I said it the other day, madam, when I speak with you too.
Yeah.
He's not in charge. And it's just unfortunate. A whole retired judge, you just allow all these things to go under your nose and you couldn't do anything about it. You hear what the law said now. Thank God he's representing the youth party, right?
The youth party, yes, he is.
I don't think they will do something funny before the law, as I'm hearing him speaking now. They will not do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chief Mister. Chief Mister, thank you. Now, he asked you a question. If you were the Attorney General, this would not be happening, so why are you not?
That's a question beyond my pay grade. It's a question beyond my pay grade.
Really?
So these appointments are political. I have no political authority or power.
Okay.
But so if the question was framed differently, I might be able to answer. If certain things that are done, which are within the remit of the Attorney General, I would assume that an Attorney General properly guided and educated would not allow them to go on.
Okay. Thank you for rephrasing the question. However, talking of selections, the panel of judges at the tribunal, how are they selected?
They're selected by the Chief Judge of Lagos State.
So he basically picks who he likes. I mean, is that it, really?
Sure.
So if he doesn't like you, he wouldn't pick you?
That's a fair conclusion.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Okay. Now we know. Look, let me just say something to my listeners. Do not let go. You've got to keep an eye on what happens at this tribunal. And I will do my best to keep you updated. Let's answer the next call. Hello.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Francis, calling from VI.
Go ahead with your question, Francis, or comment.
Madam, you are wonderful. The way you speak to Yoruba language, with this your intonation, I never believe you can speak Yoruba.
Don't be fooled by this accent. It was paid for. Wow. They paid for it in pounds and I made my way back to Naira.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Greeting to your guests in the studio.
Thank you.
Yeah. On a more serious note, whether I don't know what you call it now, the body that is in charge of election in Lagos State.
Last year.
There is nothing anybody can do about it. Go to court or do whatever. The powers, they know what they're doing in Lagos State. They can never allow us to have free and fair election. Okay, now, in my comfort of my home, I can recharge my line. Then why can't they implement the same system to our electoral process?
Electoral voting. Yes, I was coming up to that. Thank you.
Now, my polling unit is in VI. Why I reside in somewhere at this final area in Lagos?
Wow.
So how do I? Okay, now the movement is being restricted on election day. How do I get to my polling unit? How do I vote to my desirable candidate?
Thank you so much. Now, with regards to the change of address, I know that INEC opened their sites for those who wanted to change their addresses and everything. But I do also know that I have friends who said they were given an appointment in 3 months' time, etc. You were as well. It's insane. Hello? Yes, good afternoon.
Good morning, ma. My name is...
Morning, long. It's afternoon, no?
My name is Chima.
Chima, go ahead.
Okay, so I live on Lagos Island at Eniji Adele. So there's a polling unit right there in my estate. In all honesty, there was really no election there. They were literally just voting on people's behest. You just come in and they'll tell you that there's no need, just go back home.
Say that again. Start again. You arrive at the polling booth.
And they'll ask you to go back home, that there's no need, they've already voted for you. This is honest truth.
I can't cry, so I've got to laugh. We're on live radio. Are you sure about this?
We were sitting out there. You would have back in the days in the 90s when they have elections, they normally have beers around the bar so that people come around. So we still have that. It's almost like a tradition.
Yeah.
So, but you're sitting down there just watching because I don't have I registered in Enugu. I'm still in the process of sending it back. Well, I was just sitting down there and just watching, and honestly, nobody voted. It was just people just done printing on people's behalf.
Wow.
This is literally what happened. People have come and they will tell them, I'm not worried, I want to vote for me.
Thank you so much. Let's answer the next call. Hello? You have to turn your radio down when you call me. Hello? Yes.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Dapo. I'm calling from Ojo.
Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon to your guest.
Good afternoon.
I just want to say that there's nothing anybody can do about this local government election in Nigeria. All the election commissions created by the state government are extension of the party, government party of each state. For example, I want to know, is there any what they call it in Nigeria, where, for example, let's take this Lagos state, where the what they call it, the governor is a PDP member, or tell me one state that an opposition won an election. The only thing that can solve this is just let them what they call it, reshape the constitution of Nigeria.
Yeah.
And let the INEC be conducting the election. That's the only way you can have a competition. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now, have we got time to chat or we got to go on break? We have to go on a break. When we come on a break, Mr. Candide-Johnson, I want you to respond to those who have said there's nothing can happen, there's nothing anybody can do about it. We'll be right back.
My name is Abdul. My friends ask me how I stay updated with current happenings around me despite my busy work schedules. Oh, that's my secret. Everywhere I go, my radio goes with me. In the morning on my way to work, and even in the office, I'm always tuned in to 99.3 Nigeria. More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
There was a pandemic that led to a lockdown. Then came boredom and more boredom. Now, it's time for the August meeting. Lagos, brace yourselves as Nevada Bridge TV presents Acapella, My Mic and I for the August meeting. One man, one mic, one stage. A night of 100% humor. Venue, Eco Hotels and Suites. Date, Sunday, 15th August 2021. Time, 7 p.m. Tickets, premium table of 6, 2 million naira. Gold table of 6, 1.5 million naira. Bronze table of 6, 500,000 naira. VIP single seats, 30,000 naira. For bookings, call 0806-701-0127. All COVID-19 protocols will be duly observed. This event is for 500 guests only. Acapella, My Mic and I for the August meeting is supported by AfriPay. Media support, Cool Wazobia Info. This is a Nevada Bridge TV production. Packaged by Doughboy Entertainment and Larry Mako Events.
Everybody needs a little help every now and then. Sometimes it's sugar or salt or an extra hand to change a flat tire or a small loan. At Kuda Microfinance Bank, we believe that your bank should do more than just store your money. We want to do more for you, so when you use your Kuda account to pay bills, buy airtime, and make transfers regularly, we'll offer you an overdraft, which is a low-interest loan that you can take anytime you need it. No long talk, no collateral, no paperwork involved. Just download Kuda on the Play Store or the App Store, open a Kuda account, and use it regularly to qualify for Kuda Overdraft. Kuda, free banking for you.
Information. You may wonder why people call me chairman, boss, and so on. That's because I stay one step ahead with the right information. Every morning when I wake up, I tune in to the Morning Crossfire with Sheriff Quadri on 99.3 Nigeria Info. It keeps me updated with hot topics, latest news, great conversations. So you see, I never miss a thing. So listen to the Morning Crossfire every weekday, 5 to 9 a.m. and be one step ahead with the right information, like me.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Welcome back to Downfall Conversations, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Okay, and we are back. Right, Mr. Candide-Johnson, I want you to respond to all those who have been saying, like our last caller before the break, there's nothing anybody can do. I mean, what is that all about?
Well, it's easy to be dejected, to be forlorn. There's a lot that's going on that would encourage hopelessness, and that hopelessness is exactly the calculation of those who operate these systems. If they can make you dejected and stay at home, then the power which they boast, that we're here by democratic election, anytime you discuss problems with the government, the corruption, the incompetence, the inefficiency, some political hack is going to tell you, go to the election and remove us. So that is the rule that is laid down. You can't go into any game without applying the rules, and you have to participate.
That's right.
For a start. So this is fundamental. Secondly, you can't, if you stand back and watch while people take barber your head in your own absence, as the late politician would say.
Yeah.
Yes. Then you are to blame. you can change things. When people say that nothing can be done, the composition of LASIEC can be changed by the will of the people.
Aha.
Of course it can, because it's a political decision. And the hand of a politician is moved by the voice of the people, whether he likes it or not. If 700 people are outside the governor's house every day, or his mother's house, I'm not suggesting that we should harass his dear mother. But the fact is that you have to express yourself in a way that is present to those who are taking decisions in your name.
That they can't ignore.
You must not be ignored. And you will be ignored if you stay at home. If you can't be ignored, they will change to respond to what you need. This is just a simple fact.
Yeah.
And you see, politics doesn't end at the election. Politics is every day.
Every
you will
day.
fight these battles over and over again. After the day after the election, you start planning for the next one. You start planning to agitate and to confront your leaders, because the election is meant to make them accountable.
Absolutely.
And if they defy accountability by means of the mandate, then you make them accountable by other means. But the fact is that it's your right, it's your responsibility, it's your duty to hold your government to account.
It's your right, it's your duty, it is critical to hold your government to account. We're going to be back because my girl Yvonne is here to read the news. I'll be picking up your call soon.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info. The conversation never stops.
The state government asked that schools should not resume till January because of COVID-19. Now,
Nigerians don't know that there are people who are called the laborers at the very bottom of the economy.
Educating and informing.
So let me tell you something. It's not possible to block all them million subscribers. If they buy out another a day, that's for them billion naira.
Listen to Nigeria Info 99.3. Let's talk.
News.
The Oyo State government has imposed a dusk-to-dawn curfew on Shashaka.
Sports.
Oh, well, if on the way back, like I said, he restores parity for the Gunners.
And the best talk.
Johnson is on the TV every day talking about COVID. He's leading the campaign. Nigeria needs a visible leader. We need a visible leader who will be hands-on on all these things.
All at your fingertip. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. It's 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock.
The headline news on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
And CDC records 753 new COVID cases and 5 deaths. Nigeria finally takes delivery of Johnson & Johnson one-shot COVID-19 vaccines from African Union. The federal government says there are no plans for another lockdown, while warning that restrictions have not been relaxed. Indefinite strike by resident doctors enters 12th day, with the National Executive Council asking members to disregard reports suggesting that industrial action will be called off this weekend. Meanwhile, federal government denies reports that it threatened to sack doctors who do not get back to work. The federal government assures Nigeria it is at low odds of an outbreak of the Marburg disease. NDLEA arrests local gunmaker and 3 bandits with AK-47 rifles. In sports, Virgil van Dijk extends Liverpool contract. Those were the headlines here at 99.3 Nigeria Info. It is the Downfall Conversation with Ireti, Bakare-Yusuf, and I'm Yvonne Okaifo.
The conversation.
We black people must understand what is really going on.
Import milk, sugar, toothpaste, handkerchief, pencil. We don't make.
Presenting the facts and access to pour out your mind.
Every time you bring in a shipload of rice, you also bring in a shipload of unemployment because you are transferring your wealth to sustain other economies.
So let's look at an Africa that must be free to take care of herself, an Africa that's free from exploitation in broad daylight.
They need jobs. They are children. They've graduated. They've come back home to begin a second child because there's no factory to employ them.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Welcome back to Downfall Conversations, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Now, as you can see, now you probably know why I like Yvonne, because she saved the best. As a Liverpool supporter, we are happy that Van Dijk is staying. Sorry, I just need to drop that in. But anyway, Back to the Danfo conversations. Right. So let's talk electronic voting. One of the callers earlier said, why can't we just vote electronically? And of course, we've had the whole controversy about even electronic transmission. What are your thoughts there?
Well, first of all, if you want to know the purpose of a thing, if you want to decide whether a thing is working well or decide how to operate a thing, you must know its purpose. If the purpose of elections is to consult with the people, obtain their opinion and be guided by them, then you want to make it possible for as wide a number of them as possible to vote. I'm not so sure that's the purpose in this case. I think that the young people in particular believe in the promise of Nigeria. They believe in the constitution. They believe in the law. But I think that those who rule Nigeria do not believe in it. They believe that they do not have to consult. They believe they do not have to listen to the will of the people. And they believe that they can make whatever arrangement they can to compromise the expression of that opinion. Now, to the specific question of electronic voting, what is it? What are we talking about here? We're talking about a means by which an individual who owns an electronic device communicates his opinion to a platform which is supportable by very basic technology.
Of course.
Someone said the other day that they're worried about electronic voting is one thing. In the National Assembly, they're worried about electronic transmission of votes.
That's right.
And they talked about the security of the transmission of votes. And as someone pointed out quite sagely, trillions of dollars are moved by electronic means every day. It's not subverted by Yahoo boys, as I said. But the Yahoo boys are going to now get up on Saturday one year in 2023 and sit around saying, oh, we're going to nick the election today. You know, sometimes the rationalizations for bad faith and bad behavior are so silly that absurd. And you wonder about not just the motivation, but even the mental competence of those who would offer these suggestions. The fact is that what is the purpose? Do you want to know from the widest number of people? Then there's a technology to do it. And you know, you talk about this whole controversy in American elections about how they have paper votes and then they have electronic votes and they have machines. The technology is quite commonplace. If you want to know what the opinion of the people is, technology exists to achieve it that is secure, that can be secured by any number of protocols that you wish to implement, by the opening of the architecture of the technology to any number of inspections by any number of interested parties. It can be done. So when you do this, now I saw some silly person saying that there was a picture of some PDP members with Hush Puppy, the notorious internet fraudster, and therefore they were planning how to sabotage electronic voting. These are just, and this was a senator who was saying this. Now, if a senator of the Federal Republic displays such pedestrian thought processes, then one really wonders about the competence of the entire body.
You're totally correct. Let's answer more calls. Hello? Uh-oh. Hello? Hello? Talk to me. I'm here. Okay. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Ching ching. Our first female. Go ahead. What's your name, please?
I'm Esiogene calling from Ikorodu.
From my hometown. So go ahead.
Thank you, ma. Okay, now, this election of a thing that was done some weeks ago. Actually, I didn't register my card here in Lagos. I did mine in Delta State before coming over to Lagos. I met a man. It's not 3 days after the election. I was at Beribe. I noticed that there is no road there. So in the Nape, I was interacting with the driver. I said, but on Saturday, when I come outside, come vote, Abi. The man replied me, no, we're not come outside, come vote. Who they do something for? They not do anything for anybody. I was like, if you know these people are not working for you, why not come out and make the change?
Indeed.
Make the change. The man sitting next to me was like, we'll not do anything. They know who wants to win already. I said, they did not know who wants to win. You all in this community can make the change and this place should be better. You will sit in your house and you want some person to be doing the change for you. Nobody will do the change. It's you people, you the citizen of this community, will come outside and make the change.
Indeed.
He now listened and he said, Madam, what you are saying is true, but you know, I said, there is no but there. We can do this thing. We should stop saying there is no corruption in one place or not. We can do it. And Nigeria Info OAPs have made me know that if we are ready for the change, we will do it.
Absolutely.
And I have stand on it that if we are ready for this country to move forward, to change within weeks, we will do it.
We will do it. Thank you so much. If I may be gender biased, a woman said it. A woman said it. Let me pick up those of you asking me, go ahead, you can clap for her. Yes. Those of you asking me, why do you have a female only line? Now you know why.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. Hello.
Hello, yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Olamilekon from Agboa Ikosi.
Olamilekon, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a caller that called earlier, and there's something I want to get. I don't know. Now, you wanting the people to go outside, and you want them to choose. You want people to cry out and show their cry that these people are not really doing it. Do you want them to vote another person who is still going to go there and won't do the same? Will do the same thing? Now,
I don't understand that. You'll have to explain that again,
understand.
please.
You don't understand. Now, look at it. Yesterday was the World Youth Day, right?
Yes, it was.
Now, the cry of the youth. If we are going out to vote, if you are going out to make our vote count, these people are all birds of the same feathers. What do we do about that?
Yeah.
What do we do?
You vote for another bird.
Yes, if A is bird of the same feather with B, and same thing C. So what do you expect us to do?
There are 23 alphabets.
And Olamilekon himself.
B that will not do it. Is that what we should do? For crying out loud, these people are all the same. Let us only pray to God to help us. There is nothing we can do.
God is certainly not going to come down to Nigeria, Olamilekon, if I may just say.
Imagine the electoral body that is being funded by the government. The government that, if you're in the shoes of the government, what will you do?
Okay, Olamilekon, can you hear me? Can you hear us?
I can hear you, I'm listening.
Right, okay. I'll let Mr. Candide-Johnson answer you.
Well,
Okay.
one of the first things is that political participation is not just in voting, it's in standing. Olamilekon, who says they're all birds of a feather, I assume is not a bird of the same feather. So the question I have to ask him is, why isn't he offering himself a political office? Why isn't he participating in a party? Why isn't he organizing his friends to support him? There's no point complaining. I know people are bitter and they're disappointed and they're exhausted, but it's past the time to keep talking. It's time to get out there and take the risks. Leadership is a sacrifice.
Absolutely.
There's no point sitting in your home and wringing your hands and pulling out your hair, because at the end of the day, whether you go out or you don't go out, the government is going to continue to operate. So you can take the chance and see if you can make a change, or you can sit in at home making soliloquies.
Thank you. Let's answer more calls. Thank you, Olamilekon. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Cecile.
Oh, good afternoon. Yes, this is Cecile Gay. Who am I speaking with, please? Oh, your line is breaking up. Who am I speaking with, please?
Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Now, if he says everybody, they are all birds on the same feathers, I disagreed with him. If you vote somebody in, so you put that person in a position, and you notice that person is not doing the job you gave to that person, you guys come together again and remove that person from the position. They put somebody else there.
Excellent.
We shouldn't keep saying, yes, they are all birds on the same feathers, said and done. If they are not doing what we ask them to do, you mobilize yourself again and out of the seat, there's another person there.
Thank
we
you.
can't keep shouting that they are all birds on the same feather and we are suffering.
Thank
it's
you.
Not done.
Thank you so much. We've got 15 minutes left on the show. I'm going to try and fit in as many calls. My producer is already getting ready to bump me off as she does every week. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name, please?
My name is Shegun. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Go ahead, Sheg. Oh, we saw another one from my hometown.
How are you? I have been listening to this program.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate what you're doing. But straight to the point. You see, all we are advocating for it is in a place, in a country where the system works. Yeah, you want to challenge me. How do I know that the system did not work? This is exactly what I meant. On that very day of voting, I actually voted. For a very long time, I have not gone to cast my vote. But in my area, here in Okeletu, I monitored things. I went there. I saw the place was peaceful. I casted my vote. And after a little observation, I left. But what did I observe? There were no government agencies, that is, this law enforcement agents, in case there is fracas. You see, if we decided, fine, around Gbogbo Bayeku, I was one time, they kind of, appointed me or picked me to come and be the councillor there. I had to back out. Why? For my life. If you want to make changes, I can arrange, I can organize. I have always led. I'm a unionist. I have always led protests. Those hearing that knows me now, no. But the thing is, now you want to do that and you don't have any cover. By the time you risk your life, you turn your family, you turn them into, your wife will become a widow, your children. You think of all these things. But if the government is really ready and they give people the necessary cover, people like myself, we can organize and, it's a game of numbers. Fine. We will counter them. I have friends that I can organize and will mobilize. Presently, there's a WhatsApp group that we are doing that. But the thing is, our fear is, do we have any cover from the government?
Thank you.
Yes,
I have to pick more calls because we're running out of time. Hello? 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 Okay. Now, don't. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. What's your name?
This is Peter from Lagos Island.
Okay, Peter, this is where I get stingy with my time, so 30 seconds.
Yes, I think it is time for us to go out and make our choice when we want to have a good leaders in our country. But the system is the one frustrating our efforts. Last election, I went to vote, and the candidate I wanted to actually vote for, the logo of that party was not in the ballot paper at all, and it was in other centers. So how do we explain that? And even the number of ballot paper they brought was not even up to the number of people that registered in that polling booth. So the system is faulty. That's why the National Assembly have to pass that transmission bill so that let us have a credible
That's right.
foundation of elections. Then people will have confidence to go out to vote.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's pick up other calls. Hello? Hello? Oops. Hello? Hello? Hello, are you there? Sorry, next call. Oh, are you there?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's your name, please?
Jesu Lokwaye.
Jesu Lokwaye. Oh, indeed. Jesu Lokwaye, indeed. Where are you calling from?
First time. I'm calling you from Bariga.
Okay, go ahead. You've got 30 seconds.
All right. A lot of people keep saying they are both of the same feather, but they've never voted in their life. It is what people are telling them they are listening to. See, youths, 2023, better come out. Stop saying they are both of same feathers. I'm always disappointed when I see youths talking like that. There is nothing they can do. It's a game of numbers. Yes, they can come out. Once we gather and we monitor, Edo no be Lagos. Look at what happened in Edo. They were gathered and they made sure they counted it in their front. So
That's
in
right.
2023, we can come out in numbers against them. That is it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jesu Lokwaye, indeed. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You've got 30 seconds. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is John from Unilag.
Go ahead, John from Unilag.
On that election day, at Iwaya there, if you see the people that came out, people came out and we ended up voting. Do you know that they did not want to count the votes on that day? They had to force them to count the vote, and after counting, it was PDP that won the election. The one councillor. So Nigerians that always complain, let them be sitting in their house, let them don't come out, let them keep complaining. Thank you.
That's so important. Now, you've just all heard that. This happened in the same Lagos, in a particular polling booth. Right. Can we still pick up more calls? Yes, ma. Yes. She said yes. Hello? And I'm going to come to you, Mr. Candide-Johnson, for the last words.
Okay.
Hello? Okay. You're not there? Hello?
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My own stake on the issue of election is that until INEC start to conduct local government election in Nigeria, you do not expect any credible election, especially in the local level. Let me give you this instance. You have a situation as we speak now that somebody INEC will conduct election in some particular state. You see that a senator will emerge from that state, but it's in your own word where a senator emerges. You find out that if these people, the state election commissioners, conduct election, find out that even one local government, the man will not win out of the maybe like 4 or 5 local governments. He won't even win a ward. You can see that until that cycle change, until they change that procedure, giving INEC the power to conduct local government election in Nigeria. Whatever we are doing, they are just like a vicious cycle. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's answer more calls. Hello? Hello? Are you there?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, please?
My name is Yemi. I'm calling from Aja.
Go ahead, Vinny.
I want just to contribute because all those complaints, users complaining, is true. I'm an old man.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Your line cut off. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You need to turn your radio down, please. Hello, are you there?
Hello.
We've cut off. Yes, go ahead. What's your name, please?
18 from Satellite Town.
I need you to speak up, please.
Okay. The local government election.
Yes.
Until INEC conduct local government election, it's just a charade. Because a state governor under a political platform is the one that appoints the letter umpire in the state. And this security, they always claim that they don't have power over or control over. They will still use the state security agency, either the police, to conduct election in favor of their political parties. Like one of the callers said, a senator will won election from a different party, opposition party in that state. When it comes to local government election, the opposition party will not win. Then, if a governor could not conduct a free and fair local government election and will come to aspire to become a president, what do you think that governor, when he becomes a president, he will do? All this one, Nigerians are complaining. The emphasis at the federal level, at the center. They are only brief on these governors who are becoming irresponsible leaders. A governor, what about the corona outbreak? It's killing people in their state. They don't have security, power over security. What about the health?
Thank you.
Concurrently. We have never seen anything. No. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Right, because you see, my Oga to my right is already telling me she's about to throw me off. I'm going to give Mr. Candide-Johnson. I'll give you the final minutes. We've got like 3 minutes left. I'll give you the final minutes. What, from everything you've heard, what would you like to leave us with?
I think that we can't rely on INEC or any other person. INEC is also Nigerians. If you think that the government are going to give you a handout or INEC is going to save you, that is a further mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the government is upon the shoulder of every Nigerian. I think that we have to take control. We have to hold our people accountable. We have to express our opinion. We have to participate. We have to make them know that we're watching, that we're woke, and that
we are woke. He said the Gen Z word. Woke. Go ahead.
And that we're not going to allow them to pretend that we don't exist.
That's right.
And this is the real issue. So whether, as the gentleman who spoke about the election which they insisted on, you cannot overwhelm the people if they stand up.
That's right.
And this is the chance. And, if you think, who would have thought, you talk about Lasiak, the personnel at Lasiak are no less distinguished than the personnel in INEC. Why INEC behaves better is because INEC is being challenged every day. And Lasiak is nice and cozy. The fact of the matter is
every 4 years.
And INEC, and they have a job throughout the 4 years.
Yeah.
So the fact is that they have to be held to account. You need to put to the fire the feet of those who run Lasiak as well.
Thank you. Before she's about to throw me off, literally, if only you saw her hand signals, she's about to throw me off. The Youth Party What date is the tribunal taking place? Do you have a date yet?
No, we don't have a date.
Can the public come to the tribunal? Are we allowed to come?
Sure, it's an open proceedings. It depends on whoever is the chairman of the tribunal, how he regulates the room. But in Nigeria, under our law, every court proceedings must be held in public.
So voters can choose to come if we're allowed to come in?
Of course.
Wonderful. So you're going to keep us updated. You keep me updated.
Certainly.
So and I will keep everybody updated. My God, what a damn full conversation we have had. We had a san. My conductor was a san. No, just you all write today's date down. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much for educating us, for empowering us with information. And that's what this show is always about. We want to be empowered. We have started our road to 2023 before everybody else, and we want to continue on that road. And you've certainly added to that journey. Thank you, my lovely listeners. Until next week, Friday, stay safe, stay Lagos, keep riding Danfo, and have a fabulous weekend. Bye.
We black people must understand what is really going on.
Import milk, sugar, toothpaste, handkerchief, pencil. We don't make.
Presenting the facts and access to pour out your mind.